And on the front here, this is a white sapote, one of the most delicious fruits I've ever tasted in my life. In front here I have Manzano bananas and planters that I'm selling. So ignore those aren't staying permanent. Inside there obviously I have pineapples growing everywhere. This is a dwarf North Star cherry tree that's about 10 foot tall and branching out nicely. And that is a planter with 3 different kinds of pitaya or dragon fruit growing out of it. And let me get on the other side so you can see better. And this is the trunk of the white sapote, and some more pineapples in the back. And this is another blackberry. I forget what kind. I have several different kinds. And more pineapples, and you can see some of them have pineapples. Another blackberry. There's the dwarf North Star. And all the cherries trees are in line so they can pollinate each other if they do that. And here's a flower starting out on one of the different pitayas. I've already had a bunch of flowers open up. Let me go around the other side now. That's a flower. These are we moved everything out of the courtyard to do the work, so it's a mess. I probably shouldn't even be filming this right now. As you can see, pavers, garbage cans. What a mess. More pineapples. I said I probably have like 15 pineapples all around there. There's 3 right here that'll be ready to ripen soon. This is loquat. Produce a lot of very nice, sweet and tangy fruit this year, for the first year, as a matter of fact. Behind here I have another blackberry, which you can't see right now, and a wax fruit plant that's back there. Let me see if I can get where you can see it, because until I clear this mess you're not going to be able to see it. Back there's the wax fruit. And it looks like the shade's messing it up. I'm going to have to move things. And then here I have, what do you call these things? Passion fruit. 2 different kinds. And I've got planted with seeds, a bunch of them on the sides, of 5 different kinds of passion fruits. Can't wait for those to pop up and I can put them all together. And I have a trellis going there for those once I move all that stuff. Here in my side courtyard, next to the front of my house, I have a, this is a crimson, I forget what the heck it is. I bought it this year. Let's see. It's a royal crimson on a special rootstock made for Florida cherry tree. Royal crimson cherry tree. It's over the 6-foot fence, so about 7.5. Next to it I have a pitaya stand that I put up. Pitaya being dragon fruit. Right now there's 2 varieties of pitaya on it. And here's another Estella cherry tree that I bought and planted last year. The royal was this year. And this one is let me get where you can see it away from the sun. This one here is a Rainier cherry tree. Now these aren't supposed to fruit where I am, but I think they're gonna fruit anyways. This is a tree I haven't put in the ground yet. It's a Shangri-La mulberry. And this is a pineapple pear tree that I'm gonna put in the ground too. And I'm letting the rootstock grow too, because the rootstock is Asian pear, if I'm not mistaken. One kind of Asian pear. I've got pineapples all over my yard. Many of them already have large pineapples fruiting on them. And this is one I've already shown in previous videos. This is my Annona or sugar apple. There's another pineapple down there. This is one I just bought last weekend. It's a Cali starfruit, which I've got to find a place for. Now this little twig that I bought a year ago here, let me show you how small this one is. That white thing is the trunk. And judging by my hand, you can see just how small this thing is. This is an antimoya, which is an anona and a chirimoya mixed together or combined. I planted this at the beginning of the year. This is another one of those pineapple pears. They were really cheap at Home Depot, $26. But this one has an issue if you look at the trunk here, and I'll talk more about issues on plants later. Right now I'm just going to show the plants. This was one I bought online from one of the suppliers online. This is a 4-in-1 pear tree. 4 different varieties. Each branch is a different variety coming off of it. And when I got it, it was about, I don't know, 12 inches tall, a little twig. And I've had it now for 2 years, so it's doing real good. I bought this this weekend as well from the same place. This is a Matsumoto persimmon, because the one the Fuyugaki that I had in the ground was dying. It was bad when I bought it, so I returned it. This is a Seijo persimmon that I bought last season. And when I bought it, it was only about 4 foot tall, and it looked a little bit twiggy, but it's already gotten pretty thick. The trunk on it is about 1.5 inches. The tree is 8 foot tall. It's got nice branching, and I've cut off a lot of branches. I'm trying to get it to grow in an espalier shape. That means flat and against the wall. And I did buy some things that I'm going to use to create that effect. Some cattle posts and cattle fence. The posts I'm going to use to run lines and tie it with those lines. This is a key lime that I've had now for quite a few years, and it's growing real nice. It's loaded with limes all over. And this is one when I had a dying pink grapefruit that I grafted a pink grapefruit to it. This branch is a pink grapefruit, and it's actually got a little grapefruit growing on it. I don't expect it to do much, but you know, I wanted to keep the plant alive so that I could use it to graft onto another one later. And I did a test to see if you can graft grapefruit onto a lemon, and it does. You can graft any citrus onto any citrus. Here I've got muscadines. These muscadines used to be very tall, thick trunk, and they were hanging on these lines that you see coming off the house that would go to the old fence. I just had this fence put in, so we had to remove all that and cut back everything. I planted a new grape there, as you can see, and it's loaded with grapes. I mean, it's got a ton of grapes on it. Even underneath, as you can see here, there's strands of grapes there in the grass. I'm not cutting it back. I planted some new ones. There's like 4 or 5 new ones in the tall grass, which you know, I will cut back soon. But there are little ones in there, and they're going to grow. And this is one here that produced a lot of fruit for me. Good large fruit. And this one grows too fast, and I don't care for it, so I'm probably going to get rid of it eventually. It looks like I got a few bugs bothering it. I'm going to have to do something about it. At Home Depot at one point I had bought in a small planter some Persian limes, and they were real tiny, and there was 2 of them in there. I separated them. This is one of them. I'll show you the other one in a minute, but it's already growing pretty big from last year, spring of last year. In fact, I think this is the one with the label. I'm not sure which one of the trees did better, but yeah, Persian lime right there. And this is a larger Persian lime that I bought. I'll get back so you can see it. It's over 8 foot tall and producing a lot of limes right now. And we use a lot of limes, so you know, we need a lot of lime trees. This on the very front is an ice cream banana or a blue Java, and they're about 20-25 feet tall. I don't know, maybe 15 to 20. Let's say 15 to 20. It's got some pups coming out. I bought it with 1 banana on it, and it already has 3. And one should be producing bananas very soon. Now I've got Manzano bananas, and you can see that cluster there. In that cluster, we have bananas that are about ready to be ripening up soon. And Believe it or not, the manzanos are around the same size as the blue javas. I have a huge cluster of them here, which is always giving me pups, and I sell those pups. So I have people contacting me, usually eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something like that, for them. Here's another strand of bananas from the manzanos. I have 2 of them. Each one of those produces about 40 to 50 pounds of bananas. And this one will be ripening soon in the next few weeks. I have a papaya in there from an old supply of papaya seeds that I had. They were red Hawaiians, and I still have them growing. And I planted papayas because of it. I recently made a trip across the US and visited my cousin in California, and he gave me this bunch of figs. There are 3 figs in those. I think one's Mission, one's brown turkey, or cadota, I'm not sure which, and the other one's a variegated fig or tiger fig. This was a sour orange tree which we use for seasonings, foods and things, and of course it died out, and it still has some strands growing, so I'm trying to protect it. Again, pineapples everywhere. This is one I bought this year, and it's grown really fast. This is a ever-bearing mulberry, dwarf mulberry. These are plants that I have in a planter that I'm going to give away to a neighbor as a gift. I have it separated for them, getting full sun so they can do well when they get them. This is an Angie mango that I bought spring of last year, and when I bought it, it was sick. It took me all year to bring it back to a semblance of health, and just now it's starting to grow well. Starting to start growing well. It hasn't started, getting well yet, but it's there. It started. This is a weeping mulberry that I've had for 5 to 8 years, and it produces a ton of berries every year, twice a year. It's crazy how much it produces. In fact, the floor gets covered in them because people cannot eat them fast enough or pick enough of them. More pineapples all over the yard. Here I have a bunch of planters with cuttings from brown turkeys, the ever-bearing mulberry, and cadota figs. And then behind that, and I'll show you better from another side, there is a Hass avocado, and this Hass avocado is so full of fruit. It's crazy how many fruit are on it. And my mango produced, this is a cogshell mango, was just so loaded with mangoes. It was crazy. But we had a windstorm come through and it knocked off over 50% of them. I still have a lot, as you can see, all over the tree. This is just one side of the tree. From the other side you'll see more. But these are very delicious mangoes, some of the best I've ever had. And then I already showed the citrus in my other video, but I have my citrus trees inside these nets to protect them. I've been installing pavers on my courtyard, and I'm going to do a trail through this side of the house here. So we still have work going on. And I'm doing the pavers myself, just so you know. It's not a crew, so it's going to take me a little bit. So anyhow, we're doing a path here and meeting the pavers over there. The only real flowers or non-fruit bearing trees I have in my yard are these orchids and some air plants. But this is a white guava, or white guava in English. And it's a Mexican guava or guava. And then there I have another one. I'm not sure if that's a white or not, but I think these two might be whites, maybe of different varieties. I have blueberries growing in different areas all over the yard. And these are seedless grapes that you see here. Of course, they're full of grapes, but they really didn't need to bear grapes this year. I just put them in the ground in the beginning of winter, I believe, or towards the end of winter. I put them in the ground, so they really haven't had a chance to root or grow well, but they're still producing a lot of grapes. There's 5 of them here, and you can see it from, let me get back. So I do have some stainless steel cables running from the house to the shed. I have a garage and a shed and the house, and they're tied into the house, and they're strung on it, as you can see the cable here, stainless steel. And there are the orange trees, and there's the mulberry, which is pretty tall. I keep all my tall trees on the areas where it doesn't affect shade on the rest of the plants. And there's the Hass avocado. I'll get back more so you can see it well. There's the Hass and the mango next to it, and you can see the mangoes hanging from it. Still has a crazy amount of mangoes. But, you know, like I said, I lost a bunch. But we still have more than we did last year, so that's important. And these are some of the papayas that I'm growing from those seeds, the red papayas. And these I'm going to be selling. I'm going to plant one and sell the rest. This is another avocado, one of the large Florida types, not the Hass. And I'm going to graft some of it onto this tree in case this one dies, so I'll have a backup. And I'm getting some from my dad's property, some avocado that were the Florida type as well, which is what I prefer. My wife likes the Hass. I like the Florida avocados. They're just more refreshing to me. Back here I have a stand of figs, a lot of them. Every year I cut them back to just an inch or two from the new growth. And they just mass produce the amount of figs and branching that you get from it. It's Cadota, Mission, and Brown Turkey what I have there. And this is a variegated tiger fig that my cousin sent me over the mail. And I put it in the ground. It was really tiny when I got it. And of course I have blackberries in the yard. This is a Navajo blackberry, and it's doing very well. It's strung out across the vine, just tied on across the line, I'm sorry. And it's bearing, doing well. And then there's the guavas. They're really big, and these are the Ruby Supreme, and I forget what the other one is, a pink guava, and then Ruby Supreme. And here I have apple trees. This is an Anna apple, and it's pretty big. The trunk on it is pretty thick. It's about, I don't know, 4.5, 5 inches thick in diameter. And then I planted 2 Dorsets, and I'm doing a Fuji and a Honeycrisp. Just see how well they do over here in Florida, because they're not supposed to produce, but I think they will. I don't believe in that chilling effect that they keep talking about. I think trees adapt to things over time, adapt to their conditions. This is another blueberry, more pineapples. I probably have 40 pineapples all over the yard, not including the ones I have set up for sale, which I have a lot of those. That is a peach tree which I've grafted plums to, and I intend to graft other peaches to. And I don't know if that one's going to survive because the trunk has damage on it, severe damage. And I've had dieback, but let's see if it survives. And there's another angle of the guavas, the white guavas, and the ruby and the pink guava. And this obviously is a, what do they call that again? Granada tree, which is a, forget what it's called. Oh, crap. Well, I'll move on. I'll remember in a minute. And here's my Eureka lemon, Persian lime down low from the other one that I showed you earlier that came in the little bucket. It's gotten big as well. And that's a Mayor lemon, which Mayor lemons are nice, but I don't really use lemons that much. They're not really a big thing for me. This is a Honeybell. Mandarin. And this is an Oriental one. I can't remember the name of it. And then, you know, that one is Satsuma, I mentioned in the other video. This is a papaya I brought back from California that my cousin had growing. And I don't know what type it is, but I'm going to produce it. If I like the fruit, I'll get seeds from it and grow more of them. And that's a huge lime tree that I have growing there, and it produces a ton of limes every year. I'm doing work, like I said, so pardon the mess. These are the place where I cut the tiles, or the stones that go on the pavers. Here I had a tree that just popped up, a tomato tree. I don't really eat tomatoes, but I use them for seasoning when I cook certain dishes. So I saved it. It had an infection. I pesticided it. But the amount of tomatoes that this thing was growing was ridiculous. So I let it grow. And there is my Pakistani mulberry that I planted there. And I did plant some tomatoes that popped up in the back there too. And there's the lime tree again on the side of the shed, and that's the garage. And you can see it's got limes on it pretty much everywhere. It's just hard to see because they're green, obviously, and the leaves are green, but they're there. Limes all over it, everywhere, full of limes. And I've always gotten hundreds of limes from that tree. And here, I'll climb up on something so we can look down on these fig trees. As you can see, the fig trees are all pretty huge everywhere. Alright, off to this side. Let's see. Oh, right here. These are sour orange trees that are about 3 years old. Yes, they're small, deliberately. I grew these as rootstocks so that I can add buds from different citrus and you know, get whatever I want from them. If I need another tree, or even sell it. One of those two I'm going to do with it. I haven't decided yet. Here I have pitayas, 3 different kinds. Pitaya is a dragon fruit. And they're doing well. These were all from cuttings, so they're not... and that's pretty much how you get pitaya, by the way, always from cuttings, it's not from seeds. Here are pineapples that I'm selling. More pineapples over here, and more pineapples over there. Probably have about 21 or 22 pineapples. And these are muscadines that are growing up on another set of cables that I have set up. They go all the way from the pergola to the garage wall. And cables seem to be the best method for me. There's another vine. There's 4 vines here of different special large bronze and white muscadines. Muscadines are very tasty. They're not like grapes, but they taste like grapes, but larger like a plum and firmer. More pineapples. Here's another blueberry tree. And next to it I have another muscadine that I planted. So that makes it, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's 5 muscadines there. It's a pepper tree, and like I said, I don't eat vegetables, but I do use certain things as spices, so I have those. This is a mango my dad grew from seed, and he gave it to me. He had several of them. And this thing's about, I don't know, 8 years old, maybe older. And it's very slow growing. And it has mangoes on it for the first time this year. I don't know what kind of mango it is, and even if I knew, it probably would be changed by the pollination since it's from seed. Now here I have an annona, which I've shown in another video, doing great. And this is a lychee tree. I don't know what type. I believe it's a Brewster's, but I'm not sure. But it's a very nice one. Then here I have some Mexican ancho chili peppers. Ancho or Anaheim, I forget which ones, but one of those two. And like I said, we use those for spices, and my wife likes to eat them, you know, pickled. She likes peppers like that. Not my thing. And then as we go through the pergola area, and this is an area we're not done with either. I have grandkids now, so my son built this with my help. He supplied the materials, and we made this little playground for my grandkids. And it's not done. This area, it's not going to be like this. It's going to have a path through here. That's a little bridge that's upside down over there, because we're bringing a wheelbarrow through here. And it's going to be a little waterway that goes across. It's going to be nice. I've got trees that are going to go in this area here. I'll show you the trees now. But there's some trees that are already planted. For instance, that's a nectarine tree, and next to it is a plum tree, and in front of it is a peach tree. That's the peach. That's a nectarine right there. That's a plum tree back there. But that's not all. Right here I have a 4-in-1, which is a nectarine, a plum, a peach, and an apricot tree, all in one, that I bought this year. As a matter of fact, all these trees are new. I bought all these this year. This mango tree here, it's about 2 years old. I bought it last spring, kept it in a container, and somewhere in this winter I put it in the ground and it flowered massively, and it has just one mango left and it's doing well. This is a Glen mango. Now I have soursop I just bought. I haven't put in the ground yet. I bought these online. These are pawpaws. I have two of them because you need two to pollinate each other. I'm going to plant those together somewhere. This is an ice cream bean tree, and it's going to go in that area over there that I pointed out. This is a jackfruit tree. When it gets bigger, I'm going to put it on the ground over there as well. These are flying dragon rootstock that I'm going to use. They also produce fruit, by the way, but I'm not going to use them for that. I'm going to use them as rootstock for these. These are a special type of tangerine that are new. They're not even on the market for sale yet. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I don't want to get in any trouble. These are, I'm not sure what this one is. This is either a Rollinia or a bull's heart, but I'm not sure which one because the tag got lost on it. I have two Rollinias though on the other side that were, I'll show them to you in a minute. But Rollinias are a type of annona, or type of sugar apple for those people who don't know what the annona species are. Here I have two coconut trees that produce, coconuts that produce water. In a few years they'll start producing. Here I have a hazelnut tree, and of course I've got raspberries growing in the background, mint and coriander. That's what you're seeing. It's not grass. You see, here's raspberries. Yep, there's one there. But I'd eat it, but I'm fasting today, so I can't eat it. So, bugs, enjoy. And here's another fig. There's basil growing back there. There's raspberry. That is the hazelnut. Oh, and here's another pitaya stand that I put here. Already has the pitaya. There's 5 different kinds in this stand as well. I have, I believe, 5 different kinds of pitaya, maybe 6. I've lost track. But by the different kinds, I mean different varieties, different flavors, different sweetness levels. And yes, they're wonderful fruit. I recommend them. If you don't have pitaya, never had pitaya, don't think that what you got from the store is what you're going to get here. What you get in real life is way better. Hundreds of times better. Store products do not compare. You already know that from other fruits. I shouldn't have to tell you. Fruits from the store seldom taste sweet or flavorful. They're almost always watery, tasteless, and not very sweet. These are Rollinias from seed that I bought online. So until they get bigger, obviously it's not going to look like much, but I was lucky to get 2 of them to pop up. I was amazed. So out of the bull's heart that I planted from seed and the Rollinias, I've got 3 plants so far. Good news about those is it only takes about 3 years for them starting to produce fruit, so it's not a long wait. I don't like buying or producing from seed on plants that take longer than 3 years because it's just way too long to wait. For instance, papayas produce in the same year, so that's not a problem. The sour oranges are not a problem because I don't have to wait for them to produce anything. When I put a branch on it a year later, I have whatever fruit I want. So that's the gist of the yard and all the plants in it. But believe it or not, there's over 70 different kinds of plants here, even if they're in the same family. Alright, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down in the comment section and I'll take care of answering them. Thank you. Bye-bye.